Let's get into it. The United States is in political turmoil these days. Let me first just say whatever the outcome of this election is was inevitable. Welcome to All the Above with me, Tara. Right, we have leftists and right-wing conservatives fighting, insulting each other and calling each other names. We have the Republican Party saying that Kamala Harris was a DEI hire.
And she was a DEI hire? 100%. She was a DEI hire.
Look, that's the reason she was selected. I'm not saying she is unqualified to be president. You can say she's equally qualified as the other people, and thus the extra advantage.
You have leftists, as usual, insulting Donald Trump.
He is unfit, unhinged, radical, racist, and wrong on so many levels.
It's weird. It is weird.
That stuff is weird. They come across weird. They seem obsessed with this. A super weird idea from J.D. Vance.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's quite weird.
They're just weird. More weird.
It's just plain weird.
Coming at him sideways and coming at everybody who supports the Republican agenda. Racist, which may be true, may or may not be true. People hate the gays and LGBTQ community. These people hate children. Stop. Hold on. Let's roll it back. Each candidate, if you're a normal person and not like a cult follower, has things that we disagree with. But our job as Americans is to choose the best of the two candidates. But how do we choose who's the best? How do we know? Kamala or former President, what's his name? Donald Trump. I only know what I see on CNN and Fox. Here's my through line throughout this whole video. In order to understand where you lie on the political spectrum or which candidate that you would vote for, you have to think for yourself. This is a video talking about how to think for yourself. It's hard to go just off of that because a lot of these sources are biased. What I'm gonna do now is ask everybody to remove their feelings, like get out your feelings. We're just gonna review some clips about each candidate. I'm gonna try my best not to react. I'll let you guys decide what you think based off of those clips. Gun violence, affordability, cost of living in America, healthcare. You got it? Good. Okay.
Let me ask you about healthcare. You had said at one point that you thought it would be okay to eliminate private insurance. Now I realize that you are on several bills that would not go that far. Do you think eliminating private insurance would be a socialist idea?
No. Okay. So I strongly believe that we need to have Medicare for all, and within that system,
Do you think that's socialist or not? Medicare for all? No, it's about providing health care to all people. It's about understanding that access to affordable health care should not be a privilege, it should be a right. It's about understanding that in a democracy, and the way we have constructed our democracy, we, at least in concept, have said that your access to public education, public health, or public safety should not be a function of how much money you have. But in America today, that's not the case. In America today, one of the leading causes of bankruptcy for American families is the inability to pay a hospital bill. That's just simply wrong. It's simply wrong that we have a situation where the pharmaceutical companies have been dictating prices in a way that they're pricing people out of their ability to buy insulin every time they need to use it, because it's so darn expensive that you have people who are sitting down and deciding should they pay their rent or pay for all the insulin that they need to be able to be productive. So we need to reform our healthcare system. We need to understand, again, that access to healthcare should be available to everyone regardless of how much money you have in your back pocket.
It's so hard not to make faces, but this video of Kamala Harris was from NBC News 5 years ago. And the reporter stated that before Kamala didn't believe in private insurance companies, I believe, for healthcare. Now, she may have changed her position. This was 5 years ago, but you guys watched it for yourself. Don't let me misinform you. Google it.
Intend to co-sponsor the Medicaid for All bill. And
because it's just the right thing to do. I'm proud to co-sponsor it. It is about saying that this is about a right, not about a privilege for a few. You don't have to go through the process of going through an insurance company. Let's eliminate all of that.
Medicare for All would effectively eliminate private insurance. It would essentially phase out private insurance companies
as the main source, but there would still be supplemental. There'd still be access to supplemental. Okay. It was in the context of saying, let's get rid of all the bureaucracy. Let's get all of the ways.
Oh, not the insurance companies.
No, that's not what I meant. I support Medicare for All. It is my preferred
as a
policy.
principle, you mean, not Bernie Sanders' bill?
I support the bill.
Okay.
I support the bill.
Because the bill gets rid of private insurance for everything. That
it doesn't get rid of supplemental insurance.
Right, for cosmetic surgery, but for all...
So it doesn't get rid of all of it.
Their private health insurance in favor of a government-run plan. Yeah. All right.
Do you believe that private insurance should be eliminated in this country?
No.
You don't?
No, I do not.
But you raised your hand last
night. But the question was, would you give up your private insurance for that option? And I said yes. My plan will separate your health care from your employer, meaning your employer will no longer dictate the kind of health care you receive. Under my plan of Medicare for All, private insurance companies will be able to provide coverage if they play by our rules.
Okay. What do you guys think? I'm not going to guide your thoughts. I would like you to think for yourself and comment down below if that made any sense to you. Yeah, because I feel like I have a lot to say, but I'm really trying to hold my tongue. The last thing I'll look at is a Forbes article that states, I don't know if Forbes is I don't know what the hell is a good source anymore. I don't know. It says, with respect to combating medical debt, Harris supports efforts to use funds from the American Rescue Plan to purchase medical debt from healthcare providers, to purchase medical debt from healthcare providers, an initiative that could lead to 3 million Americans having a total of $7 billion forgiven by 2026. Harris also seeks to prohibit medical bills from being included on individuals' credit reports. Medical debt relief has come up during campaign rallies and may be featured more prominently as a bread and butter policy matter in the weeks and months ahead. This was reported by Associated Press, and this article came out today. What a coincidence. August 1st, 2024. I don't know how this works, guys, but this is how most Americans consume their news, their media. I'm probably even doing more than a lot of people by trying to research things. But guys, that's what this news publication says. So it's what am I supposed to believe? Boom. Next issue. Days ago, Kamala Harris was in Houston addressing gun reform.
President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign in full gear. While speaking in front of a major teachers union in Houston yesterday, Harris rallied supporters to fight against former President Trump and what she called his extreme allies.
We want to ban assault weapons, and they want to ban books. While you try to create safe and welcoming places where our children can learn, extremists attack our freedom to live safe from gun violence.
Short and sweet. Simple pimple. Kamala Harris wants to ban assault weapons. Let me remind you that I'm not stating my personal opinion on anything, so if I have a blank face, it's on purpose. What do you think? That's the point of this video. What do you think? Kamala Harris wants to ban assault weapons. Don't try and read what I feel about that, okay? Short and sweet. Next topic. Videos from Good Morning America. However, it was 2 years ago. Let's click on it. The title says, VP Harris says rising cost of living is among top priorities. This was for the Biden administration, but we can assess her sentiments on this and how it may or may not change. All right.
Interview with Vice President
My exclusive interview with Vice President Kamala Harris. She weighed in on the sharp rise in inflation, the steep fall in the president's poll numbers, how the administration's Build Back Better plan can address both problems, and I pressed Harris on claims that the president is not giving her a big enough role in his administration. Madam Vice President, thank you for doing this.
Good to be with you. Thank you, George.
You know that as Americans are feeling pretty sour about the economy as we head into the holidays, it's going to cost more to drive home for Thanksgiving, more to put the turkey on the table, more to buy gifts for the kids at Christmas. What can you do about these high prices? How long is it going to take?
Well, first of all, it's real and it's rough. Groceries, the cost of groceries has gone up. The cost of gas has gone up. And as this is all happening in the context of 2 years of a pandemic, it's one of the highest priorities actually for the president and for me. And so we're dealing with this issue in a number of ways. Short term, one of the issues is the supply chain. We're seeing a bottleneck and we need to relieve that bottleneck. So we brought together everyone from the Teamsters to Target to say, hey, let's all bring everyone together, from the truckers to the folks who are moving product, and let's open up some of our major ports for work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's happening and we're seeing great results. Long term, we need to bring down the cost of living. And that's a long-standing issue. And so we passed this week the infrastructure bill, bipartisan infrastructure bill, and that's going to be about repairing roads and bridges and bringing high-speed internet to all families. But also we need to deal with the cost of childcare, the cost of prescription drugs, the cost of housing. And that's what we intend to do when we get the Build Back Better agenda passed.
But as you know, several people, including Senator Manchin, who could be the key vote on Build Back Better, believe that the bill is actually going to make inflation worse. That's why they're holding back.
So here's the thing. Talk to 17 Nobel laureates who are economists who actually have studied the issue and have indicated that we're not looking at a contribution to inflation, but actually we're going to get prices down. In fact, Moody's and a number of others have said, listen, when you look at the numbers, the whole point about inflation and why it hurts us is because prices go up. With the Build Back Better agenda, it's going to bring the costs down.
All right. Question. What is Kamala Harris's stance on gun violence in this country, and what does she plan to do about it? If you don't know, rewind. I'm not going to tell you the answer. Second question. What is Kamala Harris's stance on outrageous healthcare prices? And what does she plan to do about it? How does she plan to address healthcare prices in the United States? I'm not telling you the answer. If you don't know, rewind. Next, we're going to look at Republican and Donald Trump's perspectives on these same three things: gun violence, healthcare, and costs of living. We're just going to look at it from his perspective.
Officially announcing the NRA's endorsement of Donald Trump for president.
They're not going to take your guns away, folks. They're not going to take your guns. Not going to. They're trying. If there is a terror watch list and if somebody's on, should they be allowed to buy a gun? And every time something happens, they don't blame mental illness, that our mental health care is out of whack, and all of the other problems.
It's going to be so hard not to make any faces watching. Anyways.
President Trump is now publicly demanding stricter gun control in a break with the NRA and fellow Republicans. The president met with lawmakers at the White House yesterday and told them he'd even support bypassing due process to take guns from the mentally ill. Paula Reed is at the White House with the surprising remarks from the president. Paula, good morning.
Good morning. The central theme of the president's agenda was strengthening background checks for folks trying to purchase weapons. He brought that up about a dozen times in that meeting with lawmakers, but he says no matter what action is actually taken, he just wants to quickly end the nonsense of mass shootings.
We have to act. We can't wait and play games and nothing gets done.
President Trump stunned lawmakers on both sides of the aisle Wednesday with his overarching demands for gun control.
Like, take the firearms first and then go to court.
After Vice President Mike Pence suggested court procedures for removing guns from dangerous people, Trump caught him and many in the room off guard by seeming to dismiss due process.
I like taking the guns early, so you could do exactly what you're saying, but take the guns first, go through due process second.
President Trump also reiterated his support for raising the age limit to purchase some weapons.
It doesn't make sense that I have to wait till I'm 21 to get a handgun, but I can get this weapon at 18. I don't know. So I was just curious as to what you did in your bill.
We didn't address it, Mr. President. Look, I think
why? Because you're afraid of the NRA, right?
No, my reservation about it, frankly, is that the vast majority of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds in Pennsylvania who have a rifle or a shotgun, they're not a threat to anyone.
Typically an ally of the NRA, Mr. Trump said he's willing to act without the group's support.
I think you underestimate the power of the gun lobby.
They have great power over you people. They have less power over me.
The president did stop short of supporting a...
This was 6 years ago. CBS Mornings reported on this. Curious as to what the comments say. There's a bunch of angry Republicans in the comments disagreeing with this. How could you traitor? Jacob Daniel 2195. If he can forget getting reelected if he goes down this road. 3 words. One term. Why do people want assault weapons? That's a real question. Why? He said that he would... I'm not adding my own 2 cents.
Vote for any Democrat in 2020 is a vote for the rise of radical socialism and the destruction of the American dream.
Okay, when researching Donald Trump, I can see that he does not like socialism. He's, a hardcore capitalist. He believes in what he calls, I'm not going to use any divisive language, what he calls the American dream. And just from those 2 videos, I see that his stance on gun violence is that he believes it's the person behind the gun and not the gun itself. Which brings up an interesting debate, conversation that me and my friend were having. My argument is that the way we behave, do you see, as we're civilized, as we don't just go around killing people if you're normal, that is nurture. I don't believe that that is nature. I do not think that humans, the way that we are naturally wired, is to not kill each other and be calm. I think it's nurture. So Donald Trump believes that if you put a gun into a person's hands, they won't shoot another person unless that they're mentally ill. What is mental illness? I'm just going to quickly read this from NBC News, April 14th, 2023. That video I was looking at was from 4 years ago, concerning the 2020 elections where he lost. Former President Trump vowed to defend and expand gun owners' rights. Sorry. Former President Trump vowed to defend and expand gun owners' rights in a speech at the NRA meeting Friday. He says, and it's a quote, "I was proud to be the most pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment president you've ever had in the White House. And with your support in 2024, I will be your loyal friend and fearless champion once again as the 47th President of the United States. It is a scandal and a tragedy that year after year, Democrats in Washington continue to hold common sense school safety measures hostage to their radical gun control agenda." which in virtually all cases would do nothing to prevent attacks by demented and disturbed individuals, Trump said. This is not a gun problem. This is a mental health problem. This is a social problem, this is a cultural problem, and this is a spiritual problem. Next topic.
Afternoon.
Healthcare.
I'd like to thank President Trump for inviting us to the White House.
Just quickly.
Well, thank you very much, Vice President Pence, Secretary Price, and thank you everyone for being here today. For the past 17 years, Obamacare has wreaked havoc on the lives of innocent, hardworking Americans. Behind me today, we have real American families, great families. Just spent a lot of time with them, who are suffering because 7 years ago, a small group of politicians and special interests in Washington engineered a government takeover of healthcare. Every pledge that Washington Democrats made to pass that bill turned out to be a lie. It was upfront and personal. Reforms. The Democrats promised Melissa Atkinson if everything works out, pre-existing conditions would be covered.
The Senate bill eliminates the
learned that Obamacare's promise of covering
it eliminates the job-killing employer mandate.
Though if the doctors
repeals other burdensome taxes and will significantly lower Americans' premiums.
Have a meaningless
It will stabilize
collapsing
health insurance markets and give Americans far more choice. After an excruciating series of events and complications, Melissa and her husband found themselves just before
the Senate bill protects coverage
for pre-existing conditions.
Crying in a doctor's office, facing yet another seemingly unpayable bill. When insurance wouldn't cover the Atkinson's care,
they run out. They say
emptied out Melissa's 401k to pay their bills.
That's the one that's dead.
And
besides that, it's failing, so they won't have it anyway. It dramatically expands popular health savings accounts. It provides tax credits so Americans can purchase a private plan that is right for them and their families. And it devotes substantial resources to fight opioid, and this is a tremendous problem.
Aaron and Andy
the opioid epidemic,
small business owners
$45 billion
their youngest
is being put in
as a rare
so that the people of many states,
children
like
born with it, are sometimes called butterfly children because their skin
can be
is as fragile as the wings of a butterfly. Poppy has to wear special bandages all of the time.
And it provides, among many other things, higher quality care and more flexibility for states to administer Medicaid to better serve
from the
their poor citizens.
Okay, that's enough. I think he got to the point. I'm doing this because it's going to take a lot of storage, but I'm just going to resort to the presidential debate. I know what I have seen in concerning this debate. It's been clips. And they've just been rubbish of both parties insulting each other and kind of avoiding the question, especially on Donald Trump's part. But let's go ahead and watch. Let's see, okay?
We've never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID. And when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce-back jobs, a bounce-back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
From what I can see, the presidential debates, and generally when presidents speak, especially it seems like Trump, he tends to not answer questions directly. We'll discuss abortion. We will discuss global foreign policy, especially concerning the wars and United States, their position in the wars, and immigration, hot topics. If this was informational for you, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. This is All the Above again. My name is Tara. I basically like to talk about different things that pique my interest, and All the Above is about living your best life to be whoever you want and to live freely. And part of that for me is discussing the political economic state of the country. I see why people do not like to do their own research when it comes to politics, because it is long. If you have a family, if you've come home from work, the last thing you want to do, unless it's your job, unless you're getting paid to do it, is research politics. So like I said, this was primary source with all of the above. We heard what the candidates feel from their own words. That way we don't have biased news companies telling us what to feel. Exciting. I'm out.